Welcome to an exclusive conversation on the occasion of D2C Summit. Joining us today is Kapil Sharma, the director of Amazon Ads in India, where him and his team help provide advertising solutions to a host of brands. He has authored exclusive articles for various publications and been a speaker at marquee events. Welcome, Kapil.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Amazing. We see that festive season is coming around the corner. I would love to deep dive right into the conversation. You've been somebody who caters to SMB brands a lot. What do you think should be the top priorities of these brands to make the most out of the season?
That's a great question. We work with brands of all sizes, be it large enterprise or a new emerging D2C brand. You know what? There is something common across all of these successful D2C brands and the large enterprises. There are three elements that they focus on during the festival season. Almost all of them know that festival season is a great opportunity for them to acquire new customers. So they do focus extensively on acquiring new customers. We also understand that based on the YouGov study, almost 84% of the consumers in the country are looking forward to buy from newer brands and as well as newer sellers and as well as new selection. The second key element which makes successful sellers successful is their unilateral focus on growing sales. Now, they understand that festival period is a great opportunity to engage with consumers who are planning to spend higher. And as I said a few minutes back, that as per the YouGov study, 60% of the consumers in the country are planning to spend higher than what they have spent in past. So great opportunity for them to grow their businesses. The third key element that most of the successful seller focuses on is their unilateral focus on engaging with consumers who are looking for aspirational upgrades. Now, why is that important? We understand based on again YouGov study that 42% of the consumers in the country are looking forward for aspirational upgrades. Now, Amazon is a great place for them to explore the products, and they also mentioned that 66% of the aspirational upgraders mentioned that they will be exploring newer selection and the products that they are looking to buy, especially from an aspirational upgrade point of view in this festival season on Amazon.
How do you think that SMBs, specifically SMBs, can do new consumer acquisition? What is your top 3 or 4 strategies that you would suggest such brands?
That's a great question. But before we jump into the strategies, I would like to focus on what are the blockers that the SMBs are facing in their journey of acquiring new customers. Based on our research and our interaction with the SMBs, we understand there are 4 blockers that they are facing. First and foremost thing is lack of awareness. If the consumer is not aware about your brand, then they will not purchase, period. Similarly, there is a lack of understanding of how the product will solve and address the need of the consumer. So if the consumer is not aware about the functionality and the features and how it solves the problem, again, they will not purchase. The third element is, let's say, even if I am aware about the brand and I know how this product will address my needs, they may not be trusting your brand. And that's where trust deficit is one of the key blockers that many of the sellers face when they are reaching out and acquiring new customer. The fourth key element is, now I know the brand, I may trust the brand, I know how this feature is going to solve and address my need as a consumer. There is still a nudge or a nudge which is required that can drive action for the consumer. Now, both of us, for example, we are using a specific brand, will not simply switch to another brand. And that's where it becomes important for the sellers to overcome that barrier to switch. So these are the 4 key blockers that we have seen many of the SMBs and the sellers facing in their journey of acquiring new customers.
Interesting. How do you think can these challenges be solved using Amazon ads? How are brands leveraging Amazon ads to solve these challenges?
And this is where we discuss in detail in the thought paper that we have unveiled today. There are 3 key elements of the engagement framework that we propose in the thought paper. One is educate, second is connect, and the third is drive action. So when we are talking about educate, we are talking about how can they use marketing effectively to educate customers about the brand, make them aware about what does your brand stand for, what is the value proposition of the brand, and secondly, educate the customers about the feature of the product and how will it serve and address the need of the consumers, how will it solve for their problem. So educate is one of the key element that we discuss in the thought paper, which addresses the two blockers that we talked about. One is lack of awareness and lack of understanding of the product. So this is what the educate solve for. I can give you an example where some of the brands have used Amazon ads effectively to address this particular blockers. So I can talk about Loop. Now Loop came up with a very innovative product, and I'm sure that people who are sensitive to noise, and even if let's say they find noise to be really annoying while sleeping or while working, they would be essentially using Loop as a product. But they realized that even though they had a very good product, very technically sound product, they lacked awareness about the product and its feature, and that's where they used multiple combination of, let's say, rich media video ads and as well as Amazon DSP to educate customers about the specific features of the product and how does Loop solve the problem that consumers are facing. So this is something which they were able to do effectively, and it resulted into a huge spike in their overall branded searches. Almost 40x is what we observed after they used a combination. The second key element of the engagement to overcome the barriers that the sellers are facing while acquiring consumers is connect. Now this connect is specifically about how can I develop relatability with the consumer, how can I develop credibility with the consumers so that consumers are trusting my brand. And this is where we have seen many of the brands use a combination of, let's say, demos, trials, and as well as integration where the consumers are. So essentially you want to engage with the consumers where they are in terms of their lifestyle usage of the product. You want to engage with them specifically in the community where they operate in. I can give you an example over here where one of the brands, which is a household name, used brand integration into the shows very effectively to engage with the community where the consumers are. For example, TVS. Now, TVS is a household name in the country. Everybody knows TVS, very well known, renowned brand. TVS was launching Raider bikes, which was specifically focused towards younger generation. It was their sports bike series. Now, when they were launching and during our interaction, we realized that Raider TG, or the target group, or the consumers whom they wanted to reach out to, had a significant overlap with the gaming community. And that's when we proposed that we can go for something like a brand integration in one of the popular shows on Amazon MX Player, which is Gaming Insan, by a very popular influencer, which is Nisha Malan. Now, this particular show talks about protagonist's journey to become a professional gamer. And they saw a significant shift in their sales uplift and also awareness of the brand post integration. So that is a great example of how you can leverage integration and connect with the community where the consumers are and develop credibility and as well as relatability when it comes to overcoming the trust barriers. The third element which the paper talks about is drive action. Now, when we are looking at driving action, we are talking about how can a brand be present where the consumers are, develop a connect with the consumers where specifically in the places where they have very high intent to purchase. And what exactly, I can talk about some of the examples over here. What, let's say in this case, one of the brands did, which is Figaro. Now, we all know that Figaro is a very famous olive oil brand in the country. They had a very unique, peculiar problem wherein they understood that many of their consumers who are purchasing olive oil, they are not using olive oil for the baby massages. Rather, they are using some other brand's product. So they wanted to engage and connect with these consumers so that they can be in their consideration set. And this is where they used combination of sponsor ads and as well as Amazon DSP to educate customers and also be present where the consumers are. Reach out to them when they have a very high intent to purchase oil for the baby massage and so on. So yeah. So while we talked about each of these strategies, which is to drive connect, to educate, and as well as drive action, our recommendation when it comes to acquiring newer customer is to use all of them. We talk about full funnel strategy, which is much more impactful because there will never be a day when, as a brand, you will not have customers whom you have to educate. Similarly, there will never be a day when you will not need to create credibility among your customer base. And also, there will never be a day when you have to go and nudge customers to take action. And that's the reason why we recommend full funnel strategy. And based on the data that we have seen and some of the brands that have adopted full funnel strategies, they have actually seen a 40% growth in their business as compared to someone who is using, let's say, no advertising, as compared to someone who is not advertising at all or using one or two strategies.
Amazing. Well said, actually. It's important to maintain a touch point some way or the other with the consumer on a regular basis, right, to be able to convert them. My question is more that we have talked a lot about intangible strategies as to how you can educate, you can make people aware. But today, founders need numbers in the boardroom, right? They want to have tangible boardroom numbers to show. So how can they actually measure and optimize their marketing efforts into tangible numbers? How would you explain that?
Yeah, so that's where Amazon Ads philosophy has been to offer self-service solution. We understand that there are many founders and many of the brands who may not have capabilities of analyzing data. They may not be technically sound. They may not even have acquired a person who understands the technical nuances of advertising and also different metrics that advertising has, especially digital advertising. So what we have done is, when it comes to Amazon Ads, we offer them a self-service solution that has host of metrics that they can use to evaluate the performance of their campaign and also optimize their campaigns with few clicks. We also offer additional solutions like Amazon Pie. Now Amazon Pie is our analytics and insights tool for the advertisers which are advertising on Amazon Ads. It offers them detailed insights in terms of how the consumers are engaging with their product across the entire purchasing journey. It also offers them insight in terms of how they can optimize the campaign and connect with audiences across the entire purchasing funnel. Apart from this, we also have Amazon Marketing Cloud, which is also a no-code and insight solution that is being enjoyed by many brands. Amazon Marketing Cloud advertisers can use to understand what has been the path to journey for a consumer, which are the different ad products that they have engaged with before they actually purchase the product. And also it offers other insights that they can use to enhance the performance of their advertising campaigns. I would like to add over here is Amazon's advertising technology and solution, which is based on trillions of signals both from shopping and as well as streaming. It enables brands to reach out to the consumers in an effective and efficient way and helps them in engaging with them across their entire purchasing journey and helps them build brand in a sustainable way.
No, actually, very well explained. I love the in-depth analysis. I would also love to know from you, how are you now supporting these brands? What is your take on that?
Yeah, that's a great question. When we look at our advertisers, we understand that their needs are evolving. The challenges that they are facing is also evolving over the period of time. So we constantly work towards innovating products on behalf of our advertisers. And this is where recently we launched 2 new solutions that can enable advertisers to engage with consumers and also reduce the effort that they have to put in to advertise products. I would like to here talk about Sponsored TV, which is our self-service video ad solution. Now, in past, if you look at video advertising, typically it was a play of larger brands because you had to commit minimum spends on a daily basis. You had to work on the creative assets, and that required you to go for storyboarding, editing, and so on. That was a big loop, and you had to commit huge budget to even get the good, compelling video creative asset. And also you had to commit big budget before you go. lastly, there were very few metrics which were available specifically on linear TV. Now we solve all of them by sponsored TV. Sponsored TV is our way of democratizing video advertising for the SMBs. Today, with just few clicks, SMBs can set up a video advertising campaign. There are no minimum daily spends which are required. They can use our creative services to create a compelling video creative asset which can be used effectively to engage and create awareness about their brand on Amazon MX Player. The second solution that we have launched recently is Creative Studio. Now we understand that in past to create a compelling creative, a brand had to go through multiple steps and they had to spend significant amount of money, and as well as they had to go through a lot of editing processes before they can get a compelling creative live for their campaigns. And this is where we have brought in Creative Studio that uses generative AI based technology, wherein it enables advertisers with just a few prompts, just a few clicks to create a compelling creatives for their advertising campaign. So this way it makes their effort significantly lesser and in advertising as compared to what it was in past.
Great, great. I love how Amazon Ads is working towards making features like these more accessible, more easy for brands to leverage on. Coming back to marketing solutions, can you expand something more on how you are providing innovative marketing solutions to these SMBs and digital first brands?
Yeah, as I said, we are constantly challenged by our advertisers. They bring in unique problems that we have to work on. I can take two examples over here. I can take an example of Ugao. Now, I know that many of the consumers might be purchasing plants and products online today, specifically from brands like Ugao. But during our interaction, we realized that they had a very unique problem. Now, just imagine in an offline world, when we are going about purchasing a plant, we usually go to a nursery and interact with the individual over there. They guide us and tell us what plant to buy based on the sunlight it requires, maintenance it requires, and also whether you can keep it indoor and outdoor and so on, whether it's what kind of plant it is. Now, how do you replicate the same experience in a digital environment? This was the problem statement that Ugao came up with. And we worked on an innovative solution. We launched a custom landing page and a custom store for them that essentially leverages their insights and translates that into a bespoke customer experience. It literally transforms the entire customer journey once the customer lands on the Ugao brand store. Now, through a step-by-step process, customers can select what's the right plant to buy for themselves. And that had a big significant shift in terms of Ugao business online. The another example that I can talk about is Society Tea. Now Society Tea again, just like TVS we talked about in past, is a household name. Many consumers use Society Tea. They had a unique problem wherein they wanted to reach out to consumers in specific pin codes, and they wanted to create awareness about their product. What we did is we worked with them to create on-package ads on Amazon boxes, and with also a perforation in the shape of a circle over there. Now what happens is when the consumer received these on-package ads boxes, they could cut along those perforation, use them as a disc, as a coaster in their houses. That was a great way of engaging with the consumers, and they did see a big significant shift in terms of the consumer awareness in those specific pin codes where they had surfaces on boxes. So these are some of the solutions that we have worked upon, but there are many more where we engage with the advertisers, understand their problem, and come up with unique solutions that can help them in reaching out to customers.
Thank you so much for your valuable insights, sir. I hope the conversation we just had will be a great handbook for marketers and advertisers. Loved your examples, loved your insights. Thank you so much again.
Thanks for having me.